Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Charlotte. My name is Reverend Jim Ernston. I am co-minister here with Reverend Lisa Herklotz, and we welcome you to Unity of Charlotte this morning. If you're here we welcome you if you're here in the chapel, if you're on Zoom at home, and sounds like we may not have anyone. We may have one person that signed in. Or if you're watching this later on YouTube, welcome to the service. So know that we have all of those past services on YouTube, and you can always go back and watch those throughout the week, or you can go back multiple weeks and get those messages as well. We have a mission statement. This mission statement is why we're here. And I know that the Board of Trustees, we focus on this mission statement. This is why we're here, and we don't do anything unless it meets this mission. So let's read this out loud together. Unity of Charlotte is the place where we nurture a deep and mature experience of God through the practice of unity principles. Simply put, we are here to love, grow, and serve. Absolutely. We are here to love, grow, and serve. You can find out more about Unity of Charlotte and what we're doing throughout the week. We have a website. We have that little monkey is our MailChimp newsletter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Bluesky. We also have everything on our old school bulletin board down the hallway, so you can always take your time and take a look at what's going on down on the bulletin board. So let's go ahead and move into prayer at this time. So I invite you to close your eyes. Take this moment to move within into that heart space, that feeling nature of who we are, knowing that we are one with Spirit, that divine Spirit. By extension, that Spirit that we join with all of humanity, all of creation. We are one together. We acknowledge all that goes on in this world, but at the same time, we are affirming the principle of divine order in our lives, that our circumstances and events do not define us. We are spiritual beings lining up with our best outcomes. As we feel the peace and harmony here today, this morning, on this beautiful April day, we see that same peace and harmony expanding throughout our world, through those that we know, our friends, our family. And with that we say, amen. If you have someone in your life that is in need of prayer, a situation or a name, we will hold those in prayer. Speak their name out loud now. We hold these names, we hold these situations in our hearts, knowing best outcome through the principle of divine order. And so it is. Please join me in our prayer of oneness. So out loud. There is one presence and one power in my life and universe. God the good, omnipotence. We also want to remind you that we have a prayer team. If you fill out a prayer request, there is a prayer box out in the hallway. You can fill that out with a physical form. You can also go online to our website and find that online prayer form. They both get funneled into email and to our team, and they will hold you in prayer for 30 days. We send those prayers then to Kansas City and Unity Village, and they hold your prayer for an additional 30 days. So lots of prayer going on with our prayer team and Silent Unity. If you need someone to talk to anytime, day or night, take down this number, because you can reach a human being and they will pray with you, 816-969-2000. And prayer is always available to all of us, all the time. And I'd like to invite up Fred, who will be reading our daily word today. Fred.
Inner peace. Inner peace. I am peaceful and strong, secure in the presence of God. I find comfort in knowing that I'm never alone, because God is always with me and within me. Whatever I'm called to face, I have inner resources to handle it peacefully. Peace dwells in the silence of my soul. When I feel troubled, I turn within. I breathe deeply and picture a peaceful setting, a trickling stream, the wind gently rustling in the leaves, or the soft flicker of a candlelight. I let tranquility sink deeply into my heart. As I leave the quietness of prayer, I take peace with me. I am ready to face the day. As a peaceful person, I know that peace is my very nature. Harmony is my purpose and my goal. I seek serene people and find them, places, and serene experiences. My soul feels at home everywhere as the peace of my heart flows outward to bless everyone it touches. The scripture, may grace and peace be yours in abundance in the knowledge of God and of Jesus our Lord. 2 Peter. For more spiritual resources, unity.org.
We're all rooted. I like that. We'll stay in that energy, because we're going to stay in nature for a moment. Just listen. You might gently close your eyes, or you might just stare at the beautiful picture of the trees behind me. Just take a gentle breath in. Take a gentle breath in. Feel the air entering your body. The same air moving through the trees, across oceans, sweeping through deserts, through city streets, over farmland. One breath. Bless you. One life. One breath. One life. Now feel the ground beneath your feet for a moment. Just take a minute to focus on the ground beneath your feet. Solid, firm. The same ground the trees are rooted in. The same ground the oceans flow across, the mountains rise up from. The same ground that holds up our city buildings, feeds the crops. One ground, one life. One ground, one life. If your eyes are closed, you can gently open them now and come back. As we are going to talk today, our theme for the month, as we've been saying, is rooted in renewal, rising in possibilities. And today we're going to be focusing on renewal as we experience it in nature. And I'm focused on this is Earth Month, if you don't know, and there is, April 22nd is Earth Day. That's when that prayer vigil is going to be held, but there'll be lots and lots of activities around Charlotte. If you're not already checking it out, I invite you to do that. I certainly will be. But the theme for Earth Day this year is Our Power, Our Earth. Our Power, Our Earth. Now, for many, especially those involved in the environment, power is often, we're talking about power as a resource we get from the earth. Those things that fuel our cars and heat our homes and run our computers. But we're going to be looking at power from a deeper level, and an extremely important level, I believe, to understand how to use that power on earth in a way that benefits and does not harm. So we have to begin this talk with the big error. The big error. The big error that is the illusion of separation. Right? We start off by naming the reason I'm up here talking about this, right? Because if we were not in this state of belief that we're all separate, I wouldn't need to be talking about it. But that's the spiritual journey. And this is an important part of it. So we name it. And that error is the idea that we have more and more in our culture separated the human from the divine. We have separated the spiritual from the material. And we've separated humanity from nature. We've separated these things as if they do not coexist in an interrelationship. And this is an error that we're here to fix. We have, because of this error, we've treated the earth as a resource instead of a relationship. A resource instead of relationship. Now, earth does provide us resources, absolutely. But because we forgot we're in relationship with it, we have utilized those resources in a way that have been damaging. And that's what we're here to look at. So here's some questions that we want to let echo in our minds and our hearts. When did we begin to see the earth as other? When did we begin to see earth as other? What has that belief created in our world and in our lives? This idea that we are separate from our natural world. Now here's a good one that's more personal. When was the last time you felt yourself a part of the living earth? When's the last time you've had that experience? I am part of this living planet. And would we choose to harm what we know ourselves to be? Would we choose to do harm to what we know ourselves to be? So we're going to take this a little deeper, and we're going to start with my favorite mystic, Hildegard of Bingen. How many of you know Hildegard? Yeah, a few of you do. Hildegard of Bingen was a 12th century German Benedictine abbess and mystic. She was a writer, a composer, a philosopher, a botanical healer, and an activist. Now, for a 12th century woman, that says a lot. And the thing that is so exciting when you read her material or you find out more about her is that she didn't just believe in God, she heard creation singing. Creation sang to her. Everything on the planet was God singing. She even wrote, creation is the song of God. God sings, and this is what we see. She saw the world as shimmering with divine life. And that's what this quote that I pulled out from her says. Every creature, every living plant, every rock, everything in their natural world is literally alive and shining with divinity. She used the word viriditas. Viriditas. There we go. Viriditas. It's a Latin word that simply means greenness. But she used that word to mean the greening power of God. She called it the greening power of God. Isn't that interesting? The green life is the vibrant aliveness of God's energy in life. She saw this as a divine life force or vitality that flows through all creation and in all things. Now, doesn't that sound similar to what we speak to in unity in our spiritual principles? God lives and expresses in us, as us, and through us, but also in and as our natural world. So there is nowhere that God is not. Hildegard was a composer. She wrote many musical pieces, and in one of them she sang, "O Holy Spirit, you are the mighty way in which everything that is in the heavens, on the earth, under the earth, is penetrated with connectedness, is penetrated with relatedness." She lived an experience of oneness with all that is. And her writings and her music just vibrated that experience. And that's why I always love to speak of her as we're in Earth Month. She also said this: you understand so little of what is around you because you do not use what is within you. You do not understand so much of what is around us. We look around and we don't, hang on. We don't understand our world because we have not remembered to connect to the divinity within us. And when we do that, we awaken to the aliveness she saw everywhere. And that is, to me, the most important thing we can do as an environmentalist, is to remember our sacred connectedness to the divine in everything. Now, how is this expressed in unity? Myrtle Fillmore was a little nature girl. She loved nature. She didn't write quite as much as, she really didn't write. She wasn't really a writer. But in some of her letters, we got a reflection of how much she loved nature. And from what we know of people who knew of her, she always loved to be in nature. And she wrote this, is one of my favorite quotes. "Nature is surely the glorified face of God." Have you ever felt that? Standing in a park, by a lake, by the ocean, in the mountains. Nature is surely the glorified face of God. Another way of saying what Hildegard was saying, the divine is reflected in everything. Now, Charles Fillmore goes a little further. He says intelligence, I gotta read it here, intelligence is inherent in every form, animate or inanimate. Intelligence is inherent in every form, animate or inanimate. A rock, a tree, a leaf, a plant. He said, even rocks and all minerals have life. We should be speaking words of truth to everything, not only to humankind, but to mineral, vegetable, and the animal kingdom. Did you know Charles said that? We know he said, see the divine in all. Always look for the divine in each other. But he also saw it in nature. He saw life and intelligence and creation expressing. So if this is true, then Earth is not just passive matter. It's not just passive matter. It is a responsive, living substance. So think about that a moment. Earth, our planet, is a responsive, living substance. Which means that our consciousness, our intelligence and life, is not separate from the condition of the planet. We are so interconnected in our wholeness and our oneness. So intelligence is inherent in all things. Life is present not only within humans, but in the mineral, plant, and animal kingdom. And Earth is a living, responsive substance. So if God is all in all, which we believe he is, then nature is not separate from spirit. If we are co-creators with God, which I believe we are, then our consciousness affects the whole, including the planet. So my question to you, is that exciting to you, or is it a little scary? Or is it a little both? I see at least one head nodding, yep, a little both. Why? Why? We had a little conversation about this in our class yesterday. It's exciting because it empowers us to know that we have the power to manifest good on this planet and to work in a holy relationship with it. It's scary because we are responsible for working in harmony with the planet. It's our responsibility. Our thoughts, our inner climate impact our outer climate. So in thinking about this talk, it's like I could talk so much about what we could be doing to live in more harmony with our planet from a behavioral perspective. But really, truly, it starts right here. It starts right here in recognizing who and what we are and who and what the planet is and what life is. And that it's all working in divine order. And when we are aligned with that order, then we work in relationship with nature. And it provides us every resource we could possibly need, but in a way that it continues to be renewed and available. So to sum it up, there is this vast living connection because the same life that animates the forest lives in us. And the same intelligence that shapes the galaxies breathes our breath. So going back to our planet, our power, our planet, what I really want to talk about is reclaiming this power. Each of us has the capacity to reclaim this power. And when I speak of power, what am I really talking about? I'm going to speak about power in 3 dimensions. One is the power of awareness. The power of awareness means we wake up from the idea of being separate from everything that is. We wake up. And in that awakening, we realize that we have been given dominion over the earth. That's a true statement. In Genesis it says, you are given dominion over the plants and the trees and the animals. But we have mistook that in a state of separated mind to mean dominating. We dominate. Power is domination over. But really, dominion means conscious participation with. The earth is an abundant resource. And when we work in conscious participation with it, then harmony prevails, abundance prevails. Dominion over means that we have the creative capacity to use our natural resources to create new things. Now, this is how we are different from the plants and the trees and the animals. They are beautiful expressions of the divine, and they are what they are, but humans have the Christ consciousness that co-creates. And that means we use these resources to invent, to be innovative, to experiment and to play. There's just limitless possibilities. But the laws of nature must be followed, or we create suffering. And because we believed we were separate, we have caused suffering instead of the joy and the peace and the harmony that we could be experiencing. The next one is the power of consciousness. We have the power of our consciousness. This is our thoughts, our beliefs, and our inner climate. I like that word, inner climate. Because we look out at our outer climate. Sometimes we look at our outer climate to decide what our inner climate's going to be, right? Well, look, it's raining. So now I'm depressed because it's raining. It's dark and it's gloomy and I want to see the sun. The outer climate I've allowed that to tell me what my inner climate's going to be. But we know, as spiritual beings, we are empowered over our mind. We have power over our mind, our thoughts, and our beliefs. And we can choose. We can choose differently. And when we recognize we are in one with everything that is, how would we begin choosing? So it's changing our belief systems first, and our behaviors will follow. So it's remembering our unity's third principle: what we hold in mind, what we feed and fuel with our imagination and with our emotions is going to manifest in our life experience. And this goes for our planet. If we see our planet as a living, intelligent system of life, and we navigate our relationship with it that way, we will have a much better outcome. Finally, which I'm kind of moving into now, is our power of participation. It begins in our heart and our mind, but it goes into how we co-create while we're in this life. This is how we live, we choose, and we relate. In a state of separation, well, you can look at our world and see what that creates. It creates war, it creates poverty, it creates hunger. Because we all are running around thinking there's not enough. And we gotta hang on to what we have. And we end up creating a system of lack. But when suddenly you step back and go, wait a minute, God did not create lack. God created abundance and limitlessness and eternal possibilities and creativity. So I'm going to tune into that, because God is all in all, but I'm part of that. And so is the planet. Our choices and our actions matter. Our choices and our actions matter. So my invitation is that we move into a relationship of sacred reciprocity. Sacred reciprocity. That kind of means that everything is energy and frequency. Reciprocity means there's a mutual exchange of energy and support between two things. So when we look at how we use our resources on the planet as being a sacred reciprocity, we would bless every gift we get, and we would give back in whatever way it is asked. We would shift from consuming to being in relationship with. Our culture has created consumers. That's the culture we have created here in the West. And now we're kind of looking at it going, it's not working very well. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of suffering. People are waking up to, this isn't may be the answer for living a happy life. So when we shift away from being consumers, what if we become participants in the flow of the dynamics of life? Well, what are the dynamics of life? That's what unity principles are about. We have spiritual laws, universal laws. Jesus came and taught them. I'm not going to go through all of those, but basically you have the power to manifest an abundant life through a change of heart and mind that remembers it's one with God and one with everything that is. Now we live in respect of each other and honoring each other and the planet. And what does it mean to give back to the earth that sustains us? Well, it means we stop becoming power brokers and we become powerful co-creators. Instead of trying to make everything a deal where I can get as much as possible, and that's my power, I live in a co-creative vibe. I don't know why your presence reminds me of the word vibe. I love Lisa Ann's vibe. Where we're now in relationship with everything. But it's a good one. It's good to be in relationship with everything. Because now life flows. We don't have to hold on to anything. As it flows, we get everything we need, and we get to give everything that anyone else might need. And what does it mean to live in harmony with our natural world? Well, it means we stop thinking of ourselves as separate beings and we see everything, including ourselves, as an expression of the one life. As an expression of the one life with God as our source. So how do we embody this understanding? I want to go back to Hildegard of Bingen. This is the second half of this quote, after she says, every creature is a glittering, glistening mirror of divinity. She says, we shall awaken from our dullness and rise vigorously toward justice. So it's not that we just go, isn't this a wonderful idea and I'm one with everything, and then we go about living our life as if we're separate beings. We want to embody this. So we embody awareness, the power of awareness, through presence. Presence, mindfulness. Pause, breathe. Let yourself feel you're part of the living earth. Take time to do that because it shifts your awareness. And once your awareness shifts, then your power of consciousness kicks in, and we look at, okay, what beliefs and habits can be changed now that I know this, that I'm more aligned with living in harmony with nature and with others. Because how we treat nature and how we treat each other is the same. Because we are either separate from everything or we are connected to everything. There's really no in between. We tend to think we're connected to some and not others, but that's the lie that we live. Once we know we're connected to everything. So what habits and beliefs are ready to be changed within me? And then finally, the power of participation. Let your choices, the choices you make, the items you buy, the way you live your life, let that become a form of prayer. What do we do in prayer? We have affirmative prayer, right? We're affirming the truth. So let every choice I make be an affirmation of knowing I am one with life. Let the way you walk on earth be a blessing to it. The way we walk on earth. I am probably more guilty than anyone else about rushing to get things done and moving at a speed even when it's not necessary. It's just like right? And I'm not conscious and aware. This is what mindfulness is this is why mindfulness is so important, because when we begin to walk wherever we're going, wherever we're headed to, with a mindfulness that we're moving with the flow of life, then things will begin to happen around us in magnificently harmonious ways. And we will bring that harmony to others and situations. We can care for the land, the water, the air. We can reduce our harm, increase our blessings. Then there's all kinds of things I could tell you to do. Reduce plastics, bring a bag to the grocery store. You all know that. If you want to know more, go to any website. There's a million ways that we can live in more harmony with the planet. My goal today is to move past the behavior and the moral and the ethical aspects of this, so that we understand that this is a spiritual awakening. This is about remembering who we are and living from that awareness. And when we do, then we take care of our planet. It becomes a natural flow. So I want to leave you with this question as we move into a meditation. We're going to meditate to the birds today. Ask yourself this question: what is one way the earth is inviting me into a deeper relationship this week? What is one way I feel the earth calling to me to experience a deeper relationship? So taking that question into your heart, let's gently close our eyes. Once again, tune into those birds and the sounds of nature, the air moving through the trees. Take a slow, gentle breath in through the nose. Hold it for a moment and breathe it gently out through the mouth. Repeat that a couple of times, and each time you breathe in, feel the sacredness of that air filling your lungs. And as you exhale, feel everything relax a little more deeply. Feel the shoulders drop. The muscles around your eyes and jaw relax. The arms, hands, and legs all coming to a restful position. And then bring your attention back to that breath. Tuning in to the sounds of nature. Opening our hearts and our minds to feel the connection. Then pose that question in this sacred space. What is the earth calling to me to invite me into a deeper relationship with it? Then gently affirm, I am one with all life. I bless the earth and it blesses me. I am one with all life. I bless the earth and it blesses me. I am one with all life. I bless the earth as it blesses me. Then gently begin to bring your focus back to your breath. Feel the air moving in your lungs once again. Feel it moving out. Remembering one last time, the air we breathe in is the same air that flows through the trees, across deserts, through our city streets, over farmlands. One breath, one life. And as you begin to move fingers and toes, bring your attention up behind your eyelids and take a moment to just feel a deep sense of gratitude. As we say thank you to the source of all this goodness and to knowing that we are an expression of that goodness and we live in harmony with it. And so it is. So it is. Namaste.
Yay. Awesome. I'm going to use a few seconds to tell a funny story. I hope you don't mind. A little funny story. I spent 30 years living in Florida. Lots of ponds, lots of gators, lots of turtles, right? Driving home one day, and the turtle decides to cross the street. And this is an honest to God story, the turtle. And so it stops traffic. Somebody jumps out, grabs the turtle and runs it over to the side of the road, right? Places it down. Bless you, right? He gets back in the car, maybe 2 cars, and then the turtle turns around and starts going back the other way, right? Stops traffic again. Somebody grabs him and takes him. He did it a 3rd time. I think he was just messing with us. So or maybe Florida is just crazy. That's another explanation as well. We now get the time to experience the incredible power of giving and receiving. It's your very presence and generous gifts that you offer that feed the vitality of this community and allow us to continue to love, grow, and serve each other and the world. There's many different ways of giving. In a moment we will have the plate, but also we would love it for you to join as a consistent giver, which means setting that gift up through your bank, through Breeze, which is the church software that we use. You can text money to us. You can use PayPal. Those are ways that help us set up a budget and stick to that budget. Other than that, we would ask that you hold your gift that you're giving today in your hands, or the image of that gift if you've given it online or at another point, as we bless that gift out loud. Joyously I give this gift, knowing the divine presence blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. We are light, love, power, and presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.